the Pandora Word Box Show. Yeah, now here we go. Always on time and she always speak her mind. Yeah, Pandora love is a one of a kind. You know it. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let's go. Now welcome to the Pandora Word Box Show. Yeah. Okay, now we gon' get a little gritty. Cause Pandora love is the realest in the city. Deep seat, stand up and show that girl some love. You want good entertainment? Well, she is the plug. Now give it to you straight up, never with a chaser. Right into the point, now she ain't no time waster. What's going on in the world? She gon' tell you about it. Will she ever skip a beat? Nah, I highly doubt it now. And you know she got the hottest interviews, everything you need to know. Only giving you some good news. Upcoming artists, the ones that you should watch. With the hottest tunes for you to play around the clock. Industry people with the inside scoop. Yeah, this show is so good, you won't never fly the coop. Never. I'm tuned in and I won't ever try to go. Cause I'm in love with the Pandora Word Box Show. Yeah. Cause I'm in love with the show. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let's go. Cause I'm in love with the Pandora Word Box Show. Cause I'm in love with the show. Welcome to the Pandora Word Box. Yeah, cause I'm in love with the Pandora Word Box Show.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Pandora Love, and you're now tuned into season 2 of the Pandora Word Box Show. Today, my guest is no other than Mr. Richard Campbell. I spoke with him a few weeks ago after I seen a post about him running against Trayon White for council member of Ward 8. So today we're going to speak to him and find out what's on his mind about the state of emergency of Ward 8. Some of the changes he has that he wants to change in his plans and everything. So just stay tuned. If you have any questions, please comment below, and let's get it started. Good morning, Mr. Campbell. How
Good
you doing
morning.
today?
I'm fine.
I'm Pandora. Just tell the people a little bit about who you are, where you from.
Well, I was raised. I grew up on Valley Avenue South. I went to Simon Elementary, Congress Heights Elementary, or something, Catholic School, Hart Junior High. Graduated from Ballou Senior High School in 1977. I joined the Navy. After the Navy, I got a job working for D.C. Parks and Recreation in Washington Highland. That was in 1980. November 1980, I actually got a job working for the Department of Employment Services. And I spent 27 and a half years at the Department of Employment Services working for the Office of Unemployment Compensation. During that tenure, I was a union activist, which I was for 27. I actually worked for the DC government for 32 and a half years. When I retired in 2013, I was the president of the union. I decided to run for Ward 8 Council because in going around the ward and speaking to people and people just talking in general, they said that they were looking for someone with leadership, someone that they could trust, someone that if they say something, they're going to keep it. So I made the decision to run it. It took a while because I really told myself I wasn't planning on getting into politics after I left the government. But, of course, I guess it just must be in my blood. You know, when I hear on the news or internet, whatever, about things happening in Ward 8 or within the city, I always get on my computer, sent the email to council members or to the mayor. That's been going on since I retired in 2013. So I said, well, you know what? No use in me fooling myself. I said, you know, people looking for new leadership, and I said, well, let me put my name into the ring and let me go for it.
Okay. So, what? Okay. Yeah, I know I'm just blunt. So, What makes you think that you could do a better job for us in Ward 8 than Trayon?
Well, first of all, my adjustment to Board 80, I look at as far as trying to bring, when I was growing up in Ward 8, everybody looked out for one another. They helped one another out. That we had lost that in Ward 8. So,
Years ago.
and what I'm looking at, trying to meet with everybody, not just a group of people. If I have meetings, I'm planning on having meetings in every section. Wherever there's an ANC, I'm planning on having meetings in each of those neighborhoods. And just having one, I'm planning on having 5 or 6 meetings, so everybody could be inclusive. I'm looking at the development of Ward 8. I know they had this comprehensive plan that they already have in works, mapped out what they plan on doing with the Ward 8. But I'd like to get involved and see exactly how is that going to affect the residents, as far as if it's going to bring jobs, if they're going to be training the residents before jobs are even established as far as development. So this is very important. Ward 8 is the poorest ward within the city. We had the highest pregnancy. We have very residents that have low income. So when we look at development, jobs, and so forth, we need to bring some jobs in here that's going to help the residents lift their spirits. And I think when you look at that, as far as the type of jobs, okay, we need jobs, and there's going to be jobs where it's going to pay pretty good money, because the housing in Ward 8 right now is getting expensive, okay? And majority of the folks, just look at it. When you're talking about $500,000, $600,000 home, okay, a lot of folks in Ward 8 can afford that.
Yeah, but there's programs put in place like the IZ zoning program, which if a lot of people took the time and signed up for them, they could get the use of the programs. Now, I'm not gonna say it's not a lot of things that he have done for Ward 8, and there's a lot of programs that's been put in place, that are good for Ward 8. So when it comes to housing, which we got the IZ program, they just need people to sign up and do what they supposed to do with it.
And that's one thing, and talk with, some of the residents. A lot of residents don't know about these programs. So we have to find some type of way where we can get the information out. Because working with the Department of Employment Services, there's a lot of money out there, especially federal money. And if the city do not use that money, of course, federal government come back and say, well, okay, we gave y'all $10 million, maybe you don't need $10 million. We're gonna take $2 or $3 million away from you.
Right.
Okay, so my thing is getting the word out, getting everybody to know exactly what the programs are, what is the benefit. Because, like I said, a lot of folks don't know about these programs. And I'm sure if they actually knew exactly what they could benefit from, I'm sure that a lot of this money will be spent and people will be happy.
Okay, so one of my viewers asked, since it has the highest pregnancy rate, will there be youth centers, daycares, more help with daycare, etc., stuff like that, for the youth that are getting pregnant? We need sex education classes. We just need mentoring for young women and for the guys to let them know what's going on out there. Are they going to be programs in places that's teaching these kids about safe sex, how to eat, how to do certain things? I think it should be a program for kids of how to survive when you're a child in a household and you're dealing with parents of addiction. Because just if they constantly see that addiction runs through the family, who says they're not going to pick it up? And they don't have to. It need to be programs put in place to help kids that's going through that. Then we have the runaway issue. I think it should be a separation. It's a lot of these kids that's running away just because they want to hang out. But then we seriously have kids that are really missing in trafficking and all this other stuff, but it needs to be brought about.
Right.
When you have more than one kid missing on one street on I Street Southeast, there's a problem. And when the government not speaking up on it, somebody needs to speak up on it.
Okay, in that situation, I believe to not just look at, I guess, private sector. To me, you should start as far as school, okay? What I look at doing is going into each school in Ward 8, speaking with everyone from elementary through high school, What I would like to do is have some type of committee, whereas I'm gonna have a committee within the elementary schools, junior high, and senior high, where I'm gonna bring people in and speak to the group as far as what you just said, as far as drugs, as far as sex, as far as family living in general. Uh, and once we get together and we meet, then we can think, something that we can plan as far as getting other folks in the community involved in. We have a whole lot of, I've seen lots of so-called, I guess, small daycares, but we need to really get involved with, I would like to see the Department of Health and Human Services get more involved. I would like to see even housing get involved, because right now, I walk through the streets, so I can drive through, and I see kids on the streets all the time at night, wondering where they are. I see folks just run around, hanging around, and when you talk to some of the youngsters, it's like, okay, well, so what? Or they have a little attitude and so many words they tell you.
It's nothing for them to do.
Right, it's nothing for them to do.
We have no recreation centers. We have nothing for them to do but hang around.
Right, and
DC also has a the lottery law. We don't have one, so they can be around and stand where they want all day.
Right. And that's one thing I was looking at also, because I questioned some city council members in the past about recreation, because recreation really plays a big part in children's lives. Okay, I mean, when you get out of school, you could go to a recreation center. You go there, they have people that'll mentor you, that help you with your homework. You can learn different types of games. You play team sports, where it helps build up, your self-esteem and so on. And all that has been taken away. I would like to see recreation brought back into the district government, Department of Parks and Recreation, because to me, it's the best thing that kids actually had. I mean, it helped me and it helped some folks that I grew up with. It also builds that community where you don't have to worry about someone saying, well, you from this part of the ward and we don't like you, and all that type of stuff that's going on right now. But recreation is vital, and we need recreation back. We also need to bring back the vocational schools, because with vocational schools, it helps as far as high school students, it helps make them say, okay, I'm not college bound, and I'm not going to fool myself as far as being a college student. So maybe I want to be an electrician. Maybe I want to be a carpenter. Maybe I want to learn how to do hair, be a chef. With those type of classes in DC public schools, you can go there, go through the training. You could possibly get certified by the time you graduate from high school. You can jump into actually a job or an apprenticeship where you'll be making good money. And that helps a lot of the folks that I was growing up with anyway, because some of them now actually have their own business. Whereas they don't know, they didn't go to college. They went to Phelps, Chamberlain, and those type of schools where they learn how to do these type things. And like I said, that's why a lot of them were actually able to get out of high school, get good paying jobs, making good money. And you look at it right now, the average, I guess, when you get certified as an electrician or whatever, you can come out making $30, $35 an hour. Okay, that is very good money. Okay, but you have to be dedicated, and you have to come, if you have it in the schools, you have to come to school, you have to report to school, and you have to be dedicated. If you do that, then you should have no problem as far as getting a certification, and you'll be out there making some good money instead of saying, I don't have nothing to do, so that's why I'm out on the street hustling.
So, someone asked, how do you plan to involve the resident in the decisions you're making for the wards, for their wards, for each different ward? How do you plan to involve the residents of the wards?
Well, that's a good question, and it's a quick answer. As president of the union, I involved every member. I didn't care if they liked me or not. The point is that as the president of the union, it was my obligation, my duty to represent everybody. And I would do the same for Ward 8 residents. Like I said, I would have meetings. I would make sure everybody is involved. I do not exclude anybody. Everyone will be included. Just being a council member don't mean you have all the answers. There could be someone out there that have an answer that could be right on time. Okay? My thing is that I include everybody. If I had to do robocalls, if I had to send mailings out, letting people know about certain meetings, I would do that. And like I said, I would have separate meetings in each section as far as the ANC, so everybody could be involved.
So you feel the councilman should attend each ANC meeting, each ward's ANC meeting?
Well, I'm not saying they should attend all because there could be other things going on, but they should try to get involved with the ANC meetings as far as actually just stepping in and see what's going on, but having its own separate meetings as far as when things come into the ward. It's good to let the residents know exactly what's going on from the beginning, not in the middle, not in the end. You let them know in the beginning. So if they have any questions, whatever, you could have everything noted down on paper. So when you attend that meeting in reference to that project, you'll know exactly how some of your residents are feeling about it. So you could address the residents' questions at that meeting.
Okay. So, someone said if you had $1 million grant to use for the city any way you choose, what would you do with it and why? $1 million grant.
That is a question. It's just so. It's just so much is reference to the needs of Ward 8. That's a question that I would have to think on because it says it's just so much. It's hard to pick out one thing because of everything that the residents in Ward 8 need. But I know one thing I would look at least trying to get into some type of program for the youngsters. My main concern is the children. So we're losing, and I was trying to find a program where I could actually get the children involved. If it means having some type of little training sessions at a young age, teaching them exactly about interviews, as far as how to take care of your bills, just prepping them, getting them ready for adulthood, getting them ready for life in general. But my main thing is trying to find something that I can really do for the kids.
Okay. Where area you say you was from?
Oh, I'm Southeast.
He's from Southeast. She said, "Want to know have you ever lived in the project?"
Yeah, my grandmother lived in projects. I live right down the street from my grandmother. Stayed on 573 Valley Avenue projects, but now they're torn down.
Right. Okay. Who are some of the candidates? What makes you stand out from the other candidates, from any other candidates, and who is backing you?
Well, I can't say who's backing me, but I'm a person. I'm about my word. I do not make promises because promises can be broken. I will do the best I can to address all issues and concerns. I am ready to just start from day one as far as doing what needs to be done to help change Ward 8 and bring Ward 8 the best representation they can have.
Okay, so are you willing to hit the streets when our youth are missing and being killed?
Yes. That's one of my main concerns. Matter of fact, I had called because I want to have a meeting with the commander at 7D. That's one of my main objectives that I told him I want to talk about.
Okay. So what would you do different than Trayon? What would you do different from what he has been doing?
Well, I really haven't been keeping up with what Trayon actually doing on a daily basis or whatever as far as him as a council member. But one thing I will do, you will see me in the neighborhoods. Like I said, I will be making sure that I will not have any one-on-one meetings with anyone by myself, because I believe in order for people to trust you, when you talk about having meetings with people and it's yourself only, people get suspicious about that. You know, they think you're having backdoor deals made and so forth. So I will make sure that I have always one or two people with me when I meet with folks. And I will make sure that my face is seen and attend as many meetings within the ward that I can. And just let people know that if you tell me something, I will work with it immediately. I'm not gonna wait a week, two later. I will address it immediately. And I think that's one of the major concerns that some of the residents have.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask that question almost last. Okay, so what about the homeless people in Ward 8? Some of us in the group, the Great Ward, the original Great Ward 8, me and Robin, we were talking about a satellite location for the homeless people. Now they closed down UMC, the maternity ward. Why? I mean, we hoping that someone can fight for that. Could be somewhere for the homeless to go because it's starting to get cold. It's starting to get cold. Where will they have to go? In Ward 8, from Ward 8, in which we all know a lot of homeless people don't like to leave their stuff. That little bit they have out there is their prized possessions. What would be your plans for the homeless in Ward 8?
What I would like to see is a building for the homeless. I mean a permanent building where they can actually stay and get themselves together. Because some of them are able to work if they had the proper facilities where they can actually sleep, have something to eat, wash and bathe, and also have training within those facilities so they could go have refresher course as far as training to go out to find jobs. I drive past the St. Elizabeth, I guess shelter you call it, and I see the gentlemen out on the street 6 o'clock in the morning with their bag and so on. I always wonder why they getting put out.
They have to be out at a certain time,
And I don't
and they
underst-
have to be in at a certain
Right, and I don't understand it. I totally disagree with it. The district need to be better as far as dealing with the homeless. Some of them don't have a choice as to the reason why they're. And that's why I feel the district need to get some money and purchase buildings, because there's a lot of vacant buildings. You can purchase a building, fix it up, and then you can even get some of them jobs. Have them, train them to clean, paint, do the yard work, whatever. You know, something to do so they can have some type of self-esteem.
Thanks to the mayor, we think a lot of them buildings are already just sold and just waiting for reconstruction. Excuse me. And just waiting for reconstruction. So.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I will look, check into what buildings in the water are available, see if any empty. I would try to see that those buildings can be purchased by the district and fixed up for the homeless so they can have a permanent place to stay. And I mean, when I say stay, I mean don't get put out 6 o'clock. It's after your home where you live at. And as long as you treat it as if your home, like I said, and make sure that you keep it clean and neat, then you'll be stay there until you're able to find a job, get yourself.
Okay. How do the resident of Water 8, how do we know we could trust you without funding?
Let me tell you, one thing
How
I
do we
do
know
not
we
mess
can
with.
trust you
One
without
thing I
money?
don't mess with is money. I'm not going to jail for nobody. I don't care who they are. I'm not going to jail for nobody. I'm not getting behind no bars. Okay? If I have to put out a financial report every month, I will do that. I have no problem letting you know where money is, how money is being spent.
Okay, so what about, how do you feel about mental health in our ward? Because mental health is a big issue and it needs to really be fixed.
Mental health is a problem because them closing St. Elizabeth, building that little small hospital, did not do our residents any justice. I think that the district need to take a serious look at what they can do as far as they have to build another building for our mentally health residents, then that need to be done. There are a lot, and they're out in the streets. You see them out in the streets, and if we're not going to take care of them, how do we expect for residents to respect us as leaders? As leaders, you have responsibility, and your responsibility is to take care of everybody, not just the people that have money. Okay, when you have people that's in positions where they're unfortunate, where they can't take care of themselves, then you have the responsibility to step up and take care of those people. Right now, I have an article that I'm trying to read. I started last night regarding Salt Lake City, Utah. They started this program for homelessness and for residents, and it's a model for country because other cities and states are taking what they did. They're actually applying it to their homeless and disabled people in their cities and states. So I'm going to read that article and like to even contact them to find out exactly how did they get started, what is it that they did. I mean, what was the cost of it? Because the program they have where they help the folks actually get themselves together, as far as getting them a full apartment. It's just like having your own apartment where you live. And they actually train everything as far as how to find jobs, how to dress, if you need any training as far as English, computer, what have you. They do all of that for these folks. That's one thing that I'm looking at. I'm reading right now.
Okay.
Trying to see exactly what they do.
Okay, so what do you think about the non-profits in our area that's getting all these grants and all this money and not doing right by the people?
But that is an issue. Now, that's why I say we're getting the residents involved. To me, with the residents involved in these type of situations, we have to look at, first of all, how are the nonprofits getting this money? That's number one. Number two is, in receiving these monies, what are they planning as far as doing with it? And if they do not keep their word, then I think it should be some type of way where the district can say, okay, this is what you promised. You're not fulfilling this agreement. And there should be a way where the district can prevent them from getting more money or possibly even close the business if so. Because to me, when you come into a city and you claim that you'll have this great idea where you want to do something for the people in that city, I expect you to hold up to what you your word is your word.
Okay, so if at any time, if any residents of Ward 8 feel that you went back on what you said you were going to do for our people, would you step down?
Oh, no question. I mean, to me, there's no need in running for a position if you're not gonna keep it. Because this is not a position that you just sit back and lay back and say, okay, I'm in here now. I can do what I want to do. I'm not even worrying about what I said. Hey, I'm in here now.
And that's what most do.
And that's what 90% of them do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest. That's what 90% of them do. They sit back and they tell you, oh, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that because they want your vote.
Right.
But once they get in there, it's like, okay, I'm in here now, so hey.
And that's my thing. A lot of y'all are not seen in tours around election time. What are you doing the rest of the year?
Right. And that's the question I have.
All right, so another problem that we have in Ward 8 is they're trying for, we trying to make space for our homeless, but they're trying to put the homeless inside a building where we have an after-school program for kids. Now, they did it before. It's they made the hypothermia, house, but they did it before, and it was an incident with a little girl where she was assaulted by one of the homeless men. And our problem is with the homeless, people, not the homeless people, but the company or whoever's gonna run it, they don't have to show no ID. We don't know what kind of charges they have. No, if they on a pedophile list. We don't know any of this. Okay, it was brought up to me that we had a guy that was in a homeless shelter that had killed somebody in a whole nother state, and he was living down here in the shelter. He was from Pennsylvania, I think. So, with these homeless shelters, this homeless shelter right in the same building with a rec center, and this is not a family shelter. This is just a shelter. If it was a family shelter, I could see because they got kids, but this is just a shelter for men and women. Why would they, how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, adult shelter should not be anywhere around children, especially when you're talking about homeless and so forth. My thing is that you're going to have these shelters. You should have some type of program set up. You should have an ID. If it's a bracelet, some type of ID card, letting you know that these people are homeless and they're part of this shelter. Now, I don't know how district work their homelessness out right now as far as if they can just go anywhere and stay, what have you. But if you have permanent people that stay at shelters, to me, they should have some type of ID, whereas you know who they are, you know that they're part of this shelter. And
a lot of homeless people can't afford ID.
Right.
The price of that information here in D.C. is
the
high.
government should give it to them free charge. The thing is that how else are you going to be able to identify them? If they come in there, if they don't have an ID, how you going to find out who they are?
I'm Joe Blow.
How you going to find out who they are? What you going to do? Take them down to police station and have them fingerprinted? So, to me, if you have homeless shelters, the district government should visit each and every homeless shelter, take pictures of everyone there, and assign them an identification card so you'll know exactly who they are.
Right. Because I can imagine how many people have been homeless, died in the shelter, and they're John Does.
Right.
They become John Does,
right.
And their family member don't even know where
right.
they are.
And you always should have, no matter what, you always should have background check. I'm sorry. Some people may be against it, but when you're talking about someone coming off the street, going into a building, you don't know who they are. Once you get that identification, then the police should do background checks on each and every person. And like you said, if they are wanted, or if they have done a crime in another state, then there are procedures in place. Police can handle it.
Right. Here I want to know, if someone wanted a meeting with you, would you make time for a resident that wanted a meeting with you?
Let me tell you this. If time is available, I will meet with anybody. I have no problem. I have met with folks already. I have no problem meeting with anybody. And even now, even though the election is until next year, if you'd like to meet with me from here till next year, the election time, whatever, I have an email address. RICHARD, the number 2, dot CAMPBELL at gmail.com. Email me. Let me know exactly what the concern is, what it is that you want to talk about, and then we'll set up a meeting. I'm not waiting until election time.
Okay, so my question is to the people. I'm going to put this out here. If he stands by and fulfill everything, okay, I'm going to give it to you, sis. Okay, if he fulfill everything he said, the people have his back. If he fulfill everything that he said he would do for us, would the people have his back if the system came after him? I don't know what that means. So I'm not sure, but I just feel it's a lot Do you agree that Ward 8 is in a state of emergency? Okay.
Yes.
You agree that Ward 8 is in
Yes.
a state of emergency?
Yes.
Okay. And how long you think it's been in a state of emergency?
I say for the past, I say since the 80s.
The 80s?
I say since the 80s. When the crack epidemic started, well, they just went to pieces. I believe that was it.
Okay. So what do you think about the K2 epidemic that has taken over Ward 8? I mean, the kids get up in the morning, they go to the bus stop, they're sitting there with people that's doped out off the K2, nodding, throwing up, and everything else. So what would be your first response to that? What would you plan to do for us that?
Well, my first response is to see how you can legally prevent it from being sold in stores.
It's not sold in stores. They made that. It's against the law to sell it in
Right.
stores now.
Right now,
But
yeah.
they're still getting
Yeah.
a hold of it.
And-
Because it's an instant. It's
Right.
only spice.
Right.
And they're still getting a hold of it.
Well, to find out exactly where it's coming from, how they're getting it, and if you have an idea as far as where it's being sold, how it's being sold, to me, if people don't speak up as far as letting the police know how people are getting it being sold, then to me, the police department should send plainclothes officers within those particular spots, hot spots, the neighborhoods. That's the only way you're gonna find out. If you send uniforms out there, it's not gonna do nothing. That's a joke. You have to send plainclothes police officers out there in order to try and stop this, because it is bad. I see it also.
But see, the thing with that is over in Ward 8, it's hard to do because a lot of the officers are known because they harass people. You know, our people get a lot of harassment from 7D. So just like it was on Facebook, they had an officer called himself going undercover, and everybody was like, "That's Officer what you call right there." So he was blown. They can't do it because they wrongfully harass people, so their faces are seen all the time.
Yeah, but what you do, you use officers from other precincts. You don't use the officers within the ward. Because like you say, people do know them because you see them all the time. But you take, even if had to take the, say the recruits that's graduate from the academy. If you had to train them, teach them how to go undercover or in plain clothes, and that's what you do. Those are new faces. Those are people that you don't know. But you have to take advantage of what you have.
Okay, so what do you think about the police harassment in our ward? Because it has gotten ridiculous now. It really has. The police harass the kids for no reason. Even if they're standing there, we don't have a no loitering law, so they can stand where they want to.
Right.
If you don't see no suspicious activity, you have
Right.
no reason to say anything to them.
Right.
But they to the point where they're making up things. So what can be done about that? They feel like, well, kids don't complain because they feel it's the police. It's nothing nobody can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the topics I put on my agenda when I speak with Commander 7, as far as harassment.
And I
of
feel
police.
they're not looking hard enough for our missing kids. Even if the government has picked up a child, CPS, CVS, all of them, they need to let the parents or somebody within that family know that they have that child. It shouldn't be weeks of stuff that kids are missing, but they're not really missing. They're with the government. Yeah. So all of that should be dealt with. Their upper hand should be dealt with.
Well, okay, in that case, if anyone have a child missing, what I would do is have a listing of missing kids. And it will go to the police department, it will go to all the agencies involved. And if a child is found, it would be the responsibility that the agency immediately contact parents to let them know that their child has been found.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like if a child is missing and the child is picked up and they taken to CPS or whatever, they got to see these flyers going around with these
Right.
missing kids' faces on them.
Right.
But you need to contact somebody and let them know these kids are here. They're not missing.
Right.
A lot of changes need to be put in place like ASAP with that. And my thing is, I know we got a lot of missing kids, y'all. All of it is, these kids are not, it's not, what is it, crucial. Because a lot of these kids are just running away because they want to be grown, they want to hang out with their friends.
Right.
It's not always the parents that's doing wrong.
Right.
You know, they just want to hang with their friends. They want to be able to stay out to this time of night because their friend can't.
Right.
So that's what a lot of it is, because next thing you know, oh, this child has been located, this child has been located. But they don't say, they're not going to tell us where they found this kid. It's just, I just think it's taken from the kids that are really missing, the ones that are going through sex trafficking and body snatching and organs being taken, because we're too busy looking for these.
And these type of issues are issues that I would like to address, especially with the community. And that way, I could actually make a listing of all the concerns, suggestions, and ideas. And that'll be the first step as far as seeing how we can resolve this problem. Because if a child is missing and the child is found, that child should not be out there as someone that just, as they say, what they call them, it's a certain word they call it missing.
Exploited?
Yeah.
Exploited?
Yeah. What it should be is that immediately parents, guardian, whoever should contact it. But that's something that I would like to address. And like I say, when I have meetings, I'm personally, I believe in taking serious notes, and when taking those notes, I take action. And one thing I do is, in taking action, if I have some type of contact information, I will let you know exactly if anything's been done about it. I had a young lady that had a daycare, that owns a daycare, complained about a playground on 23rd Street, how it was just terrible, broken up benches, trash everywhere, trees everywhere. And I told her, I said, once I get home, I will, I'll stop by there first. And I will send an email to DPR. But from my understanding, DPR, the district government, owns the property playground. What I did was, I drove by there, me and my wife, and we took pictures of the playground, took pictures of trees, bushes, trash, broken rails. And that night, I sent an email to the director of DPR, and I sent the pictures. And I explained to the director exactly what the damages were, what they need to do as far as keeping it clean. Because you have young kids that would like to come down to that playground, but in the condition it is, there's no way that they can come down there and enjoy them.
Right. Okay, so a friend of mine said that her nephew was killed. He was recently killed in the care of Child and Family Services, and housing cameras not working, and they did not file a missing person report. Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
Why is it that cameras aren't working? That's the first thing. Why cameras not working?
This guy
Was this a DC facility?
yes, and he was shot multiple times.
See, now that's a problem. To me, who's ever running that facility should be held accountable.
Nobody from the government showed up at his funeral. No ANC, no
That's
mayor,
unacceptable.
Nobody showed up at his funeral.
Unacceptable. See, these are things that, as a council member, well, as any someone in leadership, period. Once you hear about these things, those are actions that should be taken immediately. To me, I don't understand why you had district government agencies and you had cameras that don't work. You're bringing in all this money every year. What are you doing with the money? That's what I want to know, first of all. What are you doing with these millions of dollars you getting from these speed cameras, from these red light cameras? What are you doing for all this money? to me, you look at your public safety, and public safety is very important. So when these things happen, there should be no excuse for anybody getting assaulted in a facility owned by the district government. I don't care who it is. And if you have to stop hiring these, I guess these security firms that don't do their job, they're not about doing their job, you need to leave them alone, need to get rid of contracts. And then to me, first of all, the district government need more police officers. Because you cannot run a city this size and the way it's growing with the small amount of police officers that the district government has. So you need to actually go out there and you need to spend money making sure that each and every district government facility is working properly, had a proper management, had policies in place. And if not, if the folks aren't doing their jobs, I'm sorry, then they need to be fired. And you need to have people in there that's going to do what needs to be done to keep our residents safe.
Okay. So, is there anything you would personally like to say to the people of Ward 8 about your running?
Yeah, what I would like to say is, I am, like I say, I'm homegrown Ward 8. I've been Ward 8 majority of my life. I care about the ward. I care about residents. And that's basically the reason why I'm running. I don't like what I see is going on in the ward. And with the help of the residents, if you elect me, I will do the best I can. And you can hold me accountable for everything and anything. Believe me, I am not a person that's going to sit around and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and once I get in office, it's not going to be done. I'm a person that believes in doing things right away. I don't believe in waiting around. So if you come to me with a problem, and if it's a problem that involves the entire ward, I will have meetings, and within those meetings, we have to form committees. We will form committees, and we will get the actions done. I'm not going to sit around and wait on nothing. I'm not that type of person.
All right, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to come in here today and, just let us know a little bit about you and some of your plans. I see that you want to rename some streets and stuff like that, so, yeah.
And I would like to thank you, Ms. Love, because, like I said, I really care about the board. And, I want to see things change. Sometimes change is good, sometimes it's not. But if we don't get involved, then we have to accept what we're given. Right. And all I'm asking is that these residents of Ward 8 get together and say, okay, it's time to get involved. It's time for us to make a change. You got to have somebody in there that's going to represent you, not a few, but everybody. And I'm the person there to do that.
Okay, I got somebody that says she would like to set a meeting with you soon.
No problem.
Okay.
Send me the email, no problem.
I get the information for you, sis. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Pandora Word Box Show. If you have any questions, you can put them in my inbox or on my page, and we're gonna get it together. We're gonna find out what Mr. Richard Campbell is really about and if he's really for us. So, thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.
Ward 8, state of emergency. I love y'all. I'm out.
Oh, it's hard. Put me in the headphones. Too, yeah. Huh. It's life. And they don't know it. Sometimes you hit rock bottom. Shit. I just need somebody to pass me a rope. That's all I need. Before I hit the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Seen some hard times in my lifetime. At times I thought about suicide. Put one in the chamber, then let it go. But deep inside, I ain't wanna die. Deep inside, I just want to live. Living life without none to give. It hurts every time I see my kids. Ain't never ever in all my years. Felt so low, felt so down. Like all my dreams, I'm past me now. I'm washed up, an old rapper. What's left?